Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Wiegmann, and we are at Santee Cooper. Man, we are having a great time here. We are at a special writers camp here, Catch the Fever. Pretty exciting to be here. And so we actually have the co-owner of Catch the Fever Rods, and which is Tony, and then we also have his marketing assistant. I'm going to say he gave me a great big title to write down, and I'm like, ah. In the back of my mind, I was going to say, and marketing is Dillon. But anyway, it's great to have you guys here. Let's just start, man. Impossible to get it going in the fishing industry, starting your own manufacturing company to build lures, probably even harder to do a fishing rod. Is that right?
I don't know. I mean, we've never made lures, so I couldn't tell you that. Oh. But, yeah, it was definitely a learning curve. Learning curve for sure. But, yeah, I mean, we started off super small and just kept at it, worked with the right people. And then from there, we just kept growing, so.
Do you think are you located here in the Santee Cooper area?
So we're in Roxborough, North Carolina. So that's about 4.5 hours from here.
Right.
So this wouldn't be our home body of water, but it's not far away. So
right.
Yep.
So what line of rods are you producing for species? Right. Species specific.
Specific. Right. So we've got the crappie lineup, which is what we're working on this weekend. We've got the striper rods. We've got the big cat fever rods, which were the first ones we introduced. Those are for catfishing.
Okay.
And then the Hellcat rods. You'll see some over here.
Okay.
In a couple different colors. But, yep, that's how it started. It started off with the Big Cat Fever Rod series.
Okay.
Then we worked from there to we developed Slime Line Fishing Line.
Okay.
So we do fishing line as well.
Is that monofilament?
It's monofilament.
Uh-huh. And
then we went from there to the Striper, Crappie, and then the Hellcats was the last things that we came out with.
All right. So if he's the brains, you're the bronze?
They give me the content. They tell me what to do, and I try to stay behind the scenes, and I do as much as I can for them. Most of my stuff is currently like posting on Facebook, sharing ads, sharing as much content as we can. Coming out to events like this, the writers camp, filming as much as we can, getting the videos over to Nick, who does most of the editing for us. Right.
So how long have you been with the company?
So when they started off, I did a little bit of part-time, just packaging rods. That was probably 6 years ago. We was in the back of the warehouse. We didn't have much space or anything, and I would do that just after school. Then I went off to college, and summertime I would come back and keep packaging rods. I just graduated this past December.
We told him he had to hurry up and graduate because we needed him back.
Well, where did you graduate from?
I went to Avery University in Danville, Virginia.
All right. Yep, Virginia.
Yep.
So
that's not far from us.
Yep. Oh, it's not far. All right.
Yeah, it was about 45 minutes away from Roxborough.
Okay. And so now you've developed a full-time job there.
Yep. When I graduated on a Friday, came straight to work that Monday.
Did you celebrate? You can tell us. I won't tell anyone. Did you party like when you graduated from college?
Yeah, it was a good time.
A lot of iced tea.
Yeah, lots of iced tea.
Yeah. Did you throw him a party? I mean, part-time to full-time?
Every day is a party. So.
That's crazy. So lines of rods, how did you think, well, now that we have catfish rods, we need some rods for a different species. Now we need them for crappie. Now we need them. How did you get into that?
Well, we always wanted to do as much stuff as we possibly could, but we had anglers coming to us saying, look, there's a void in the market. Do you think you guys can help create something to fill that void? And so we're like, if we can, we can. We'll give it our best shot. So, we just worked with what we felt like were the best anglers at the time to develop the best products we could. So,
all right,
that's where it came from. That's where it's at.
Yeah. So what do you think the challenge is to get out the word, to get the media out about these rods? What do you think the biggest challenge is?
Yeah. So I feel like the biggest thing is just learning and watching the algorithms of what's pushed on social media, because social media is just such a big revenue right now where that's how you get the most customers. I feel like, you got Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You got so many different YouTube, so many different social media platforms.
Right.
So I feel like that you've got to find out what videos or pictures your type of customers like.
Right.
So you got to find out, what age group your customers are. It might be 20 to 30, 25 to 35. Figure out what they like. And then you've got to figure out if they like short videos, long videos, action videos, talking videos. I feel like it's just learning the algorithm for that is the hardest part.
Uh-huh. What do you think the most popular videos usually are that you're putting out? Is it about catfishing because of the market? And
so
people, catfishermen are they love their cats.
Yep. I'd say catfishing is probably the biggest thing that gets us pushed or our name out there, just because we started off catfishing first, 8 years ago or so.
And it's a lot more impressive if you don't know any better to see a 70-pound catfish. Your brain says, wow.
Right.
You don't know if a 2-pound crappie is big or small. To us, it's big.
Yep.
Right.
But, when you see this, it's big.
Right.
So it grabs your attention a little bit faster, I think, than other things. But it doesn't matter. I mean, Shane could do a little video of, like, what was he, reeling in the alligator on a crappie rod, and it got tons of views.
People love the action shots. People love the rod bent. That's the biggest thing that gets shared, no matter if it's a striper rod, crappie rod, big cat fever rod, hellcat rod. That rod bent over, and any kind of drag pulling, it doesn't matter what rod it is, people like that.
So let's talk about the beginning. You are the co-owner, so Caleb's not here.
Right.
But so how do you're just sitting around in the back room and thinking, geez,
there was no back room at that time.
All right.
We both worked full-time jobs. We would fish when we could as a hobby, and we were just fishing and talking, and we were like, we should come up with a rod that we like, that we think our friends that fish would like. And I talked to Caleb, he talked to me, and we were just, should we do it? You think? So we finally just said, let's do it. So we did it, and started working, like I said, with some good people that were actively catfishing on social media and stuff, and it just took off. And I think the very first order we put in was like 200 or 300 rods or so.
Right.
And we're thinking, oh my goodness, we've had to collect all of our money together.
Right.
It's just, we're stressed out. And then I think it was maybe 2 weeks after we launched, or a week or two after we launched, Zach Royce caught those 2 back-to-back state records.
Wow.
In North Carolina using our rod, and got it all captured on GoPro.
Wow.
So, he was one of the first people that actually worked with our companies as like a pro staff member, ambassador. And so we worked with him, and then it just grew. Zach's guide business blew up. He helped us promote our rods. And then we've just been working with great people ever since then to, get the word out. So,
how many people work at your business now?
Inside the business?
Yeah, inside. More than a handful.
About 7. About 7, yeah.
Yep, that's quite a bit.
Yep.
Full-time employees.
Yep, and then we've got a few that, are part-time. And
right. Some part-timers, they just end up just staying, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, the funny story about Dillon is he used to go fishing with me and Caleb when he was young. He was a little younger than us.
Oh, really?
Yep. So he would come fishing with us all the time. So he knew everything we knew.
Oh.
He got to hear all the fishing stories, everything. And he was just there for the ride, and wouldn't you know, he wanted to work part-time when we started, and then it just worked itself out that it was a position, and he was perfect for it.
Well, Whitney's not here, so let's talk about him. How do you end up getting him on your pro staff? Because he is uncontrollable.
Whitey?
Yeah, Whitey.
Whitey Outlaw.
Yeah, Whitey.
He's an outlaw.
He's uncontrollable.
He's an outlaw.
He's an outlaw.
He's a fisherman. That's
just probably.
Sure.
So how did that begin? How did that relationship
So
begin?
we actually Caleb met with Whitey years ago when we were doing the slime line stuff.
Right.
And we had the high vis green at the time, and Whitey had some ideas about some line and wanted to know if we could potentially make this line, and we were like, well, if it can be made, we'll make it.
Right.
If it can't, we'll try our best. So we worked with Whitey and came out with some fishing line, the Super Stretch. And that's actually a really good line for the crappie anglers and stuff, because it's got a lot of stretch to it, but it goes back.
Okay.
And I think it stretches, what is it, like 32, 33%?
Right.
And then it's able to go back to its original length. So it's got a lot of stretch, but it doesn't stay stretched. So that helps with their soft mouth. You know, crappies have the super soft mouth. We went from that to working with Whitey, and then he had a couple ideas on some rods and stuff, and we bumped our heads together, and then we came out with some crappie rods after we worked with a ton of different people, Whitey, his son, Shane, and we just tried to perfect what we were doing with the best people, around the nation. So met with Whitey, then he connected us with some of the other people in the industry, and we just went from there.
Right. So when it comes to working with Whitey and all them, what do you think the challenge is for having a pro staff and trying to get information from them? Or videos, is that the challenge? If someone was looking to be on the pro staff of Catch a Fever, would that be like one of the things you would be shooting for?
Yeah, I say we try to get a lot of as much content from them as we can to push them as much as we can, because we want to help them grow as much as they can help us grow.
Right.
So if they've got a guide service like Matthew, we want him to share as much content with us as he can, so we can share it to our pages to push their stuff.
Right.
So we definitely look for, when we do have ambassadors come on and stuff, for them to, post stuff and tag us and stuff, and us to share it from their pages or send stuff into us.
Right. Catch the Fever. How'd you come up with the name?
It took a long time.
Took a long time. Did it really?
It probably took 5 months.
5 months?
For the
really?
So we thought about the name, and then it took about 5 months for us to perfect this logo. And I got it on this hat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah, the Catch Fever logo. We went back and forth. That's not right.
Right.
But yeah, we were just thinking.
But the name.
So the name, we've always, like, if you catch the fever about something, you start playing the guitar, you get the fever, you're obsessed with guitars.
Right.
Well, we would say you caught the fever like the fishing fever.
Right.
And so we were like, we'll go with that. And so then we, from there, you can have any fever you want. You just catch it. Got to catch that fever. But, yeah, it was just something catchy, and it worked out good. So, yep.
And then you put it on Whitey's boat.
And we put it on Matt's boat. Yep.
Matt boat.
Yep.
There you go. So tell us something we don't know about your company.
Something you don't know.
Something that people don't usually ask, but you'd like to say. Got him stumped. That's good. While he's thinking, I'll go to Dillon. We'll come back, and then you'll have to say. So, are you a big cat fisherman, or you think your biggest draw for yourself, you like to fish what? Catfish?
So it originally started off as catfishing, and with them, I didn't really fish for much else. But Caleb, what got me hooked was I went on a boat with Caleb 2 or 3 times. We caught 15, 20 blues, and we went out one time. It was super cold, and I caught a 45 on Carl Lake.
Wow!
And after that, I was hooked. We started going Saturday, Sunday every week. Got hooked on that and did that for a couple years, fishing every weekend between Carl Lake and the James River. We were always out there. So that's really, catfishing really is what got me hooked. I did a little bit of bass fishing and stuff, and then went off to school and didn't have a lot of time to fish.
Right.
So now I'm back and I get to travel a lot. So that's kind of my dream, was to go to, I went to school to do this after school or do something in fishing. So now I get to come kind of live my dream by getting to travel to great places like this and meet anglers and see fish they catch, and go to all different places like Florida, the beach, Santee Cooper.
Right.
I get to travel a lot and meet a lot of great people.
Yep. All right, we're back. What do you think?
I think working with the youth. I think over time, working with the youth has been something that's special to me.
Right.
And we really focused a lot over the past year of working more closely with the youth, getting them more involved in whatever species of fishing they like. That's just something that, is more dear to my heart, I think, than most, because when I was a kid, that's what I was doing to stay out of trouble, is go fishing.
Right.
I mean, that's what it was. Me and my brother, we were fishing. That's all we did. So I'm replanning in my mind, let's get these kids that are excited about fishing in the sport and stay fishing, keep them out of trouble, have fun, maybe make a career out of it like Dillon did.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. That takes us to Tackle Time. Tackle Time sponsored by PICO Lures. PICO Lures has a complete line of hard and soft baits. They catch everything that swims. Anything they can catch on their poles, we probably have a lure that can catch them. So you can check them out at PICOLures.com. Dillon, you're the media guy.
Yes, sir.
Where would they go if they want to find out more about Catch the Fever rods?
Guys, you can find out all our rod models, everything, all our specs at catchthefever.com.
There you go. You have a social page, Tony?
Yep.
Well, we've got Facebook, we've got
Right.
TikTok, we've got all the social medias, YouTube.
Catch
Go
the
ahead,
Fever on every social media platform: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
And Precision Crappie.
And Precision
Make sure
Crappie.
to check out the Precision Crappie page. That's what we're doing this weekend. 100% crappie or crappie, depending on where you're from.
That's right. Exactly. Hey, it's always great to have you guys on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Like I always like to end the show, make sure you keep your hook sharp and your lures in the water.